I'm Morgan Dreams with RT Book Reviews, and I'm here today with a mother-son writing team known as Charles Todd, but it's Carolyn and Charles. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I was going to say, we're here at Thriller Fest, and one of the reasons that you're so popular here is you write wonderful mysteries. You have a few protagonists that you write with your ongoing mysteries. Can you tell me a little bit about Bess, and then maybe a little bit about Ian?
Bess is a newcomer to our list. The third book is coming out in August. She's a character who appeals to so many people, to men, to women, to romance readers, historical readers, suspense readers. She's really tremendous, and she's such good fun to write. And Charles can talk about Ian.
The thing we like the most about Ian is the psychological suspense of not only him dealing with the difficulties coming back from war, but also it's in a time period that doesn't have forensics, so naturally Rutledge has to solve the crime through his understanding and knowledge of people and their interactions and their societies. In each book, Rutledge goes to a different town in England, so every time we start a new book, it's in a different location with a different cast of characters.
That's why we love traveling.
I was going to say, it's really interesting because you're based here in America, but your stories do take place in England and abroad. Is it the travel that really gets you excited about these?
And the fact that World War I really was terrible in England. We were a large enough country that we didn't see the devastation that England saw. So war becomes more of a character there.
Now, I know you said that you have a book releasing in August, and that's one of the best mystery novels, and it's called The Bitter Truth.
A Bitter Truth, yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about The Bitter Truth and what readers can expect?
Bess winds up in London on leave for Christmas, finds a stranger in her doorway who is battered and frightened. And typical of Bess, she takes responsibility for this woman, and the mystery comes from that. There's some very interesting characters in this book. Very interesting.
Excellent. And are we going to see, for the mystery portion of it, we're kind of maybe hunting down a bad guy that's like...
There's a missing child.
Little spoiler for us.
There's a missing child. There's the war in France. There is... a wonderful house in Ashdown Forest that is full of secrets, and Bess comes there as a stranger. So she has quite a lot on her hands, but I think being Bess, she'll be able to handle it.
Well, I know that there's a lot of crossover appeal because your books deal a lot with the relationships that the characters have with other people. Maybe, Charles, if you can talk a little bit about the relationships that you like to investigate while you're solving these crimes.
A lot of what you investigate is when we go to the actual locations where the book takes place, because by getting to know the people and wandering around in that village and learning its different quirks and dark alleys and all those kinds of things, it allows you to see a part. We don't walk in and say, "Hi, we're mystery writers, and we're going to,
Kill somebody."
we pretty much low profile.
Yes.
Absolutely. So you don't necessarily announce that you're coming. It's more of a low key.
We don't announce it at all while we're there.
Has anybody recognized you? Maybe if you've come back to an area and maybe read the book that you based on the area. Have you ever had that experience before?
No, but we met a Lord Mayor here in the U.S. who read our books, and he says, if you ever come to our town, I'll help you find a place to bury bodies.
The secret places in town.
He knows more than we do.
Oh, I love that. And finally, I have to ask, writing as mother-son, that is such an interesting dynamic. You don't hear about that a lot.
I think we're the only one.
I know, exactly. I was wondering if you can talk about how that works as writers and how maybe you can get your voices to meld so fluidly when you are reading either an Ian or a Bess book.
Would you like us?
We don't do it in the same room.
That's true. We can't.
We started out, there was no co-authors for dummies when we started out. There was no, this is how you're supposed to do it. We started it as a project that we thought would be fun. We did not really expect it to get published. And so we just had a good time putting it together. And I was on the road. I live in North Carolina. She lives in Delaware. So a lot of emails back and forth and late night phone calls and those kinds of things. But even when I'm visiting her, we still talk via email
He's
because
upstairs, I'm downstairs.
it gives you an opportunity to get her thoughts and ideas. Sit down, read them, give them due consideration, and then work with it instead of that immediate, what are you, nuts?
Which could be not so good for a writing relationship.
No. And then I have time to read what he says as a response. And then what we do is try to take the consensus of what's best from both of us and make that the part of the book. Because the person who counts is Rutledge, or Bess, as the case may be, not Caroline or Charles.
Well, I want to thank you so much for meeting with me today because it's such an interesting dynamic, and your books are so they're wonderfully immersive. When I sit down to a Charles Todd novel, I am just immediately taken to the era and. Yes, absolutely. And I know our readers out there, anybody that's interested in a little bit of mystery or some great characters will absolutely love your next novel,
Tell
which
them to look for the Australian in Bess.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about is I know that the new Ian novel is going to be out in January, and I heard something about the cover. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
We just saw it yesterday.
Yes,
They
HarperCollins sent it to us.
sent it over courier, and it looks great. We really like it.
And it's
We've
called
been
The
fortunate.
Confession.
We've had some really nice jacket art. I have some really talented people.
Absolutely beautiful, which really draws the readers in.
Absolutely. I couldn't pass it up.
Well, okay, so the confession, I want maybe this much of a spoiler for the confession. What can you tell me?
What happens when someone confesses to a murder he didn't commit and then is murdered himself?
Ooh, can't wait. Okay, well, it sounds like you've got some great things coming up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Morgan. We enjoyed it.